Well, welcome back. My name's Tiger, AKA Tigmonk. Moving on to question 2 for the interview with Wake Magazine, and we'll be doing lots more videos as well, as I'm going to be doing a video for Wake Magazine every week for a little while, and share more love. I can't find an argument that says we shouldn't do that, so we'll keep moving in that direction. Question number 2. When/if you experience feelings or thoughts of lower vibration, what are your most potent tools that you specifically use to raise your own frequency back into the flow of truth/life? Do you utilize specific spiritual teachers, sound healing, mantras, physical movement, visualization, etc.? That's a great question, because oftentimes we as human beings are very much interested in raising the vibration or expanding on the experience so that we might enjoy ourselves a little bit more. And I'm going to approach this from maybe a slightly different angle, in the way that my biggest tool that I use for such a thing is what I'm going to call just allowing. And that's the internal recognition that's not fighting the present moment experience. There's this allowing of it rather than this arguing of it that says, oh, it's a low vibration, I need to be at a high vibration, which is understandable and practical. So there's not any sort of encouragement to move away from that. It's simply from my experience, what I'm recognizing for myself is that vibration, whether it's high or whether it's low, sometimes is a force of its own, in the way that I'm not the one that has control so much of what season it is. Just like if it begins to rain here, I'm not going to try and figure out how can I avoid the rain or make it stop so that I can have the environment that I think is better. When in truth, the rain's happening because the rain is needed. And it's really not a problem. Rather, it's just a different state that's moving. And so in this, when we have experiences such as sadness or resentment or anger, or depression, in truth, there's a movement that knows that that's allowed and that it's serving some sort of purpose. And so rather than being so quick to get away from it, for myself, I find it is much more practical, effortless, and easy if I just go with that. Not in a way that I sit in it from a deficient state of being, which again is to argue with it in a way, saying, poor me, why is this happening? Really, it's a falling into it completely. And so giving myself permission to be authentically human and know that this experience isn't defining me in any way. It's just an opportunity for a season to unfold that's going to add life, that's going to add richness and a depth. And this is kind of how I've moved through my own sort of blooming, is from a space of severe depression as a teenager and young adult. And what I discovered in that experience was, as I was there paralyzed emotionally to my own bed, there was a recognition that this is so damn difficult because I so don't want it to be this way. There was really this identification that says, this is not who I am. I shouldn't have to feel these feelings and I should be able to get rid of it. And so there's the present moment energy of what's happened, almost like pain, like physical pain. You hit your finger with a hammer, then there's that happening. That's happening. You can't really deny that. But then on top of that, we add this entirely different world that comes from a deficiency space, in the way of this experience is somehow reinforcing my brokenness. It's like hitting yourself with a hammer and calling yourself a dumbass for 2 weeks because you made a slight error in judgment or whatever. Your hand was simply in the way. And so like that, in my experience, I recognized that there wasn't really a problem unless I was trying to get away from this, unless I was trying to be something other than what was happening. Because if I allowed the energy to simply be the energy, then there's no problem. It's just, oh, this is what happened. Oh, God, great example. If you get the flu and you argue with it, you say, oh my God, this is so getting in the way of my story because I'm supposed to be this and I'm supposed to be that. And now this flu comes in and kind of shuts me down for a little bit. But in truth, the flu's playing out because it's helping you to get stronger. It's actually contributing to your experience in some way. And so our emotional fires or our emotional whatever, they're actually playing a valuable role. And the moment you try and get away from it is the moment you stop learning from it. And this is why it's showing up, is to offer some sort of opportunity for expansion. And so back then, that was the major teacher was, oh, this isn't supposed to change. There's something about this that is for my benefit. And so I became open to listen to what life was trying to show me. And essentially, it was trying to show me that lesson in itself, that the movement in the mind that wants to argue with this is going nowhere. You have come to a point where you have run out of options, you've run out of methods, you've run out of tools to control this experience. And so now what are you going to do? And I find that happens quite a bit. It's like we can get tools and we can try and manage, manipulate, or control our experience so that we can make it a certain way. But ultimately, what it comes down to is life is going to wake your ass up. And so sooner or later, you're going to have to face the pain of what's actually happening rather than trying to find a way out of it. And so currently, there's still no getting away from this movement. It's just a completely different relationship with it. In a way, I could almost say depression happens, but there's no way that I would define it as that because there's no negative connotation. It's simply an energetic movement that says, hey, Tiger, let's chill out for a little bit. It's time to do a Netflix marathon for a week. And that's what I fall into. And if that means that I fall through on commitment, then I just be as honest as I can. Like, I'm not feeling that right now. And life goes on. And so rather than trying to maintain a story of who everybody else wants me to be, there's a real natural flow that just allows myself to be the self, however that's arising. And then as that's arising, it's like, oh, I can watch Netflix and just have full permission for that and not feel like I need to argue with it. Or I can go on a hike, or there's just so many different things that you could move into. But really the question is, what's the most natural thing for me to do? What's the most sincere thing for me to do, regardless of the opinions of everybody else that thinks I should be doing this or should be doing that? Again, it's returning to what you are, not who everybody else wants you to be. And so if that were the tool, it would be that. It would be simply this allowing to move with the natural. The allowing to be authentic. Maybe that's to pick up a book. Maybe that's to listen to some audio. It could be a number of things, but in truth, it's none of those things, because what it really is the allowing to be yourself. That's what's going to heal. That's what's going to raise the vibration. Not trying to trick yourself so much, but opening yourself up to see the truth of reality. That's the ultimate next level vibration step, is just see the truth of what you are. Oh, I like that question. Thank you so much. Aloha. And again, cheers to the beauty that you already are.